Super excited because I just had 2 hours of talking with my dear friend and super juicy woman, Lara Kolesar. And she's sitting here right in front of me. I can touch her. I know some of these final talks will be done online, but this one is in real life. And you're not sitting here with us, unfortunately, but I hope you'll enjoy this one. What if you had only 60 minutes to share your message, your truth, and your legacy with the world? That is the main question in the Final Chance podcast. I am your host, Stephanie Klaus, and I'm a purpose activator. I have met some incredible people throughout my life, and I love for you to get to know them too and to be inspired by who they are and what they have to say. Time is ticking, so let's go. So welcome, Lara, to the final talk, to your final talk. And the setup of this series is, if this was the last conversation that you would ever have, and you could leave a message to humanity, your loved ones, what would it be? Again, you don't have to worry about that. I'll get you there. Like, I'll ask you some questions, but that's the idea behind the final talk.
Wow, this is really cool to like have this put on me right here in this moment.
Right?
Yeah.
So all my guests, they cannot know upfront what's happening. So I'm just like, hey, do you want to be a part of this? But I can't spoil the spoiler yet. Is that how you say it? Well, I can't spoil the idea yet. So this is where she finds out that basically you only have 60 minutes to live. Well, 59 right now. So that's actually what I just want to start with for a moment. And if it feels good, I just invite you to close your eyes with me. And you can take a deep breath or do whatever feels good for you to get comfortable in your body, even though we're sitting real uptight close with these microphones. And then I do want you to imagine that your final hour has come. That right now you are being told that you will die in 58 minutes. That your life as a human, as Lara, will end. And so during this last hour, you get to review your life journey with me. I'm the lucky one. And of course, with our listeners, they get to listen to you after you pass. But as we are recording this conversation, you have a final chance to leave a message, to leave some of your essence and to transmit all that you are out into the world. And so I invite you also to take on what I call the eye of an eagle, to zoom out, where you get to look back at your life's journey, where you get to see yourself from that helicopter view. Or another way of saying this, my invitation is for you to look at yourself and your own life from a soul perspective. To not look so much as Lara, but to look or review your life from the perspective of your soul or your higher self. And then my first question is just, well, here we are. If you imagine that this is your final hour, what's the first thing that comes up? What's moving in you? What are you feeling?
If this were my final hour, the first thing that happens is my body gets really lit up. Like I feel this like buzzing aliveness. It's just I feel how alive I am right now.
Yes. Wow.
And with that, because to me, this is obvious, but the more that I engage with people, I see that this may not always be obvious to people, that with the aliveness is an element of pleasure in the aliveness. Because aliveness may not always feel enjoyable, but I'm feeling the enjoyable aliveness. So it's pleasurable. It's like it has a sensual quality. It has something that is, if it had taste, it would have texture of yumminess and yummy flavors to it. And it is connected also to the base of my body. So there's pleasure also in my vulva and like that whole, what brings me pleasure.
Yummy. And I hope that you, when you're listening to this, that this is an episode to really open your heart and your body to, because if you allow yourself to feel what Lara is feeling, what I'm feeling, but mostly what Lara's feeling, you're gonna feel alive together with us during this time. So thank you for sharing. I love it. I can feel it. Like I feel more alive and more juicy just by receiving you. So I want us to zoom out and look at your life's journey. And you know me, so you probably know that I love to see our life and our journey as a treasure hunt. It's like, damn, it's been a road. Damn, it's been a lifetime. And I didn't know it was coming to an end right now. But if it is, like, I want you to look back, zoom out, and I want you to share with us, like, some of the treasures of that life's journey. If you look back, that you're like, damn, this is what I came to pick up or embody or learn or experience. That's specific to your journey, right?
Yes. Well, gosh, I would have to say, like, the first thing that jumps out to me, if I'm going, rewinding all the way back, is to look at the journey through my experience with my mother. Because my mother, man, she was pretty bold and daring. And she started very early on pursuing this path of self-discovery, of awakening. She was like, wanted to discover what the secret of enlightenment was. And so I was introduced to that at a very young age, being around listening to the teachings of Osho at the age of 7 and 8 years old.
Yes.
And I can feel that even back then that had an impact on me, this like way of how I perceived the world. And yeah, that just, it's connected to this sense of aliveness, this sense of daring, of living an unconventional life.
Yes. Well, let's follow that thread. Like, looking back, what are some of those, or one unconventional thread that stands out that you feel like brought you so much as a human, as a soul, as a woman, however you want to see that?
Let's see. I guess being around people who were in like this self-discovery. Now, granted, when I think back to that first couple years of when my mother was like on this journey, it seemed to coincide with using of psychedelics and that type of thing. And so that exposed me at a very young age to others, to young adults on their psychedelic trips and journeying and the lifestyle that went along with that. So on the one hand, at the human age I was, it had an element of like instability, yet at the same time, it was to me this crazy magical world, watching these people opening up to discoveries of themselves and witnessing, especially around sensuality and sexuality. I got exposed to that at a young age. And I have also identified that as let's say, traumas. But yeah, as you ask me, I can feel the gift in it of being opened, initiated at an early age. And that has set the stage for me to also have reactivity to that. Like when I became an adult, where I was like, I wanted to have stability. I wanted to like do things in a way that was different. Yeah. But really, when I look back, it's like, it's what has, it's in my cells.
Just because this is already juicy, I wanted you to check in with another unconventional thread, or like a real treasure in your life's journey. Maybe not so much your youth, but the later parts of your life. It's so weird to talk to you as if you're like this 100-year-old grandma or something, even though you're still so young to me. Your spirit is young and old and timeless, of course. But any other treasures you want to share with us?
Well, I think a big one is having made the decision to move to Europe, because right now here we are, we're in the Netherlands, and I live in the Netherlands, and I've been living in the Netherlands now for
2016, isn't it?
Since 2016.
5 years.
5 years, yeah. And I think there was always this longing to do that. My mother's French, but what gave me the permission to finally do that was the dream to be a part of something that was emerging, and it was a collective emerging. It was a possibility of a co-creation, and to be a part of that. And it was happening at a retreat center, and there was so much dream of possibility. Mm-hmm. It was a magical time.
Yes. Narnia time. This is where we met, by the way. If you don't know us personally yet, then we met in 2016. We both moved to the Netherlands that year in this retreat center, both dreamers wanting to commit and give our life, give everything we are and have to that dream.
To have something to like, clear thing to devote to, right? To just be like, I am in devotion to this. And that, and that it was also our home. It was with a group of people that were all, interesting people. and a lot of challenges came with that too, right? Mm-hmm. So that was an amazing, magical experience. And then we did event after event after event. It was like, right? 2016, 17. Yeah. It was this like dense with experiences of being a part of all these people coming to the center to grow and learn and be in this deep dive of almost like research. That's what it was. Mm-hmm. We were all researching what it was like to be human and what was possible. Can we let go of the conventions and follow the magic? Yes.
Oh, I'm loving this life recap and looking back at this time we had together too. Yes. Beautiful. Yummy. Yeah. 1 hour is going to be too short, but unfortunately, the time is ticking. So, next question. I want you to imagine that your life's mission is complete, because I believe in divine timing. Like, there's no mistake. So if your time comes, I want you to imagine that would be, if you die today, it is because your mission, whatever that means, was complete. And your mind may not understand it, or you might be like, yeah, but I know there's so many other things I wanted to do or create or have or be or experience or live out. And it's like, no, if the time comes. Somehow, beyond your mind, it means mission complete. So from that viewpoint, I want you to look at your life's journey and feel into what that life's journey actually has been about.
This is touching me right now. I have
I can tell.
As soon as you start to speak to that, I can feel that it's been about these connections, these individual connections, like the exchanges. And now as I realize, it's like how much has been shared. How much has been shared in these connections, whether it's been one-on-one or even at times it's been like a group experience. Mm-hmm. And those moments have been so potent. They feel like they have been like portals to something that is, I think I was sharing about this before. I have this love of being on the edge of what's barely comprehensible, right? But being able to stay still, not dissociating, right? Not blowing myself out because I've gone to the edge where all of a sudden, like, it takes me days to recover from it, right? But can I still stay present to this now moment and open up to that barely comprehensible quality, like that meeting point, that bridge of humanness, human needs, and also staying connected to like this mystery of what beats my heart. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But it's very connected to connection. Mm-hmm. That's what I flash to. It's like my impact I've made on people's lives through being with them.
Yes, totally. You totally have. I could just be in silence here with you and just feel this hour out. So you just started mentioning that impact you left on people. So something I found with people who are famous, with some of them, they only became famous or known after their death. So now this question is, this is what's going to happen to you, Lara Kolesar. That's what I want you to imagine, that actually in 100 years, people would share something that Lara Kolesar left or like impacted them with, or that's like being carried on. So what is it that you would want to be remembered for? Whatever way, whatever comes up.
Wow. I would want to be remembered for it's like my wild vibrancy, my beingness, my presence, that I challenged people's that I challenged people's sense of a status quo. I think, what is the word I'm trying to find? You know what I mean?
I use that word. I'm not sure if other people do. I know the word status quo.
Yeah, the banal. That I was someone that brought people out of the banality of their lives.
Yes, she does. My experience. Yes. Another question. Let me see though. Let me see. Where am I going with this? I feel so I feel more connected to the moment with you, right? That it I have questions, of course, that I always ask. But it feels more true to just feel the moment and then feel where it wants to go. And I just feel that in your presence very clearly. So actually, I want to go back to your conversation because it was so juicy. I don't know why I'm bringing this up, but we were talking before this final hour about the body being a magic wand. Well, people who know me I love magic. I'm a magical creature. So are you. But I love this metaphor. And I think I just want to bring it back to the body. Because when I think about you, I think about the body. I think about movement and being in the body and being connected. But I feel like you're just stepped into another layer of looking at the body as a magic wand and a receiver and all of that. So given this is your final hour, I want you to speak to that. Maybe this is my question. Sorry, this was my intro to the question.
All good.
What do you want people to know about their body? If this is your final chance to wake them up to this magical wand that everyone has, like you don't need money for it, you don't need a career for it, you literally do not need anything else. Yeah. Share your wisdom with us.
I think that the main thing is that there's so much beauty in the subtleties of what our bodies is capable of perceiving. So even like our capacity to feel through like our fingertips. So like right now I'm like touching, I'm touching this table that's here and it's made of wood and I can feel the grains, the little ridges. And just like our capacity to feel the refined discernment, and I can feel the little variations. And the more I bring my attention to that and let that, like as I touch, I can also follow that all the way up into the rest of my body. Like my whole system is receiving it and digesting, and it's curious. Because right now it wants to find out more about it. So then the rest of my hand wants to touch, and it's like it spreads out, and it's like, ooh, and then it might come into like, oh, there's a little few like, there was some, maybe a meal that was eaten here. So, there's a little grain of salt. But it's just that there is, and it wakes up this aliveness again. The more I get in touch with my senses, my simple ability to feel, to receive information through my sense of touch wakes me up to my connection to aliveness. And it is this magical instrument translates the mysterious aliveness of what is around us in each one of our unique languages. So what I'm receiving through my touch will be completely different from you, because your instrument, even though it has this capacity to receive, it is experiencing something that's like, it like translates. It's an amazing translator, and then might pick up on something completely different in touching this table than I do. And that when we start to all put together these different perspectives, it becomes even fuller. When we all pay attention to our ability to receive the information, then we are receiving the magic of the cosmic realm in a fuller three-dimensional way when we're all contributing to this. Because we are giving back information to the cosmic realm. It's not just informing us, we're informing it at the same time.
Receiving and transmitting.
Yes. And it's a free gift we've been given.
Damn.
Right?
What? I've never heard anyone say this, but that's true. Speak it.
Yes.
Oh my God.
We've been given this gift for free, this energy, this body. And, well, I mean, it's very possible. Maybe there's something we don't know about, right?
Okay, some cosmic contracts.
Like, we had to stand at the door
we claim it's free right now.
Let's just say, let's just play with the idea that it's been given to us for free. Well, now, since it's been given to us for free, well, I feel like I want to honor this gift, honor it through the gratitude, like be curious, like, well, how can I and I don't want to use the word maximize as if like there's some place to go or achieve, but it's like, I want to honor the full potential of it by relaxing into like this moment of feeling, to honor the gift that it is. And that through that, I am actually being more generous with the gift of my body.
Like this is it feels like such a beautiful piece. Like if you die in whatever, how many minutes, I'm so happy that you shared this. Because if I look back, I can say that I have dishonored my body for a long time, and that I took it for granted. And then, let's say, to put it shortly, I did not treat it as a gift. So, and I would say if I look at the world outside, I can see a lot of people who are not honoring their body, not seeing it as a gift. So given that, again, I'm like, tell us something about that. Like, I'm just imagining people listening to you right now, feeling this with me, like what you just shared about. This is a fucking free gift. Anything you want to share about how we can honor it more? Like where do we start? What do I do? Like I can think about food and like what do I put in the temple, but I want to know it through your lens.
Yeah, it's like as you were sharing that, it's like compassion comes up. Compassion for the not knowing, like us forgetting to honor, to be kind to this bodily form, and that the possibility that somehow the forgetting and actually maybe even the turning against ourselves, it actually is what also shapes the gift in a weird, I know it seems kind of weird, but it's like it does shape even more the gratitude when we, it's like almost like forgetting is an important element of remembering.
Boom. Yep. How otherwise we couldn't call it remembering to start with. Yeah.
And that then when we remember how it's like, it becomes like, it feels like awakening. Right.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, wow. It's like it opens. But if we always were in that place of remembering, there wouldn't be any contrast. Right.
True.
So I think there's something the same about when we forget, or like when we're like annoyed, because it's not easy, this body, right? Because it has this, right. It has this experience, something that's finite. Because this body that we're in, it goes through this wave, its cycle. And with that, when we open to loving it, we also then risk attachment to it. And then the fear of losing it. Well, then I don't want to get too attached to it, and then be like that right there creates that separation, that sense of like, ooh, not wanting to feel open to it, because there can be heartbreak. So that's the compassion part, just knowing that, boy, if you have hard times, just know it's all good, right? That is natural. I mean, I have many forgettings throughout the day, but to just keep going right back, just keep coming back to presencing what's here. And even if it is that frustration of like, sometimes we do need to just be frustrated with what the fuck. That's an important thing also, to feel the aliveness in that. What I've been noticing is like always going behind to feel what fuels, even if it is judgment or anger or
jealousy,
or
shame,
exactly,
guilt.
Yes, like there's fuel behind it, and if we can let ourselves feel the energy behind it, which gets, our body can show us that where it's located, our body responds to it and might even store it someplace. And then we can feel, oh, there is that alive energy that my body's contracted around, because the shame causes usually contraction. A lot of those things you named, our system responds through contraction. And the contraction a lot of times is a way of how we can massage it, right? How we get to know something by holding it, by grasping it, being in hugging it, grasping it. Then it makes it possible that we can let it go. Well, yeah.
Oh, this should have been a video just because it's such joy witnessing you and seeing you move as you share. I love it. But I'm sure everyone can feel it though. Feel it. Please, fucking whatever you're doing, like pause, like go sit down, lay on the floor, roll around and like feel this episode with us. Okay. Side note. Another piece I want to bring in, because again, something I think of when I think of you is touch. Touch. You created the Art of Ecstatic Touch throughout your lifetime, but again, I want to zoom in on touch because again, if I look at humanity, I would say probably most people do not have such an easy or open or, I'll call it easy relationship with touch. If you could like leave a message or create an opening right now for people to see the gift in touch, like what do you want to spark?
Yes. Okay. So, a number of things. Well, it brings me back to this bodily form that we're in, that this magical instrument. Touch charges its magical powers, right? Because it's through the receiving. So touch happens through all of our senses. All of our senses are forms of touch. Our eyes, right? Light touches the retina, even smell. It's like these molecules, chemical molecules touch inside the nose and ear. It's vibration. All the senses are forms of touch. So even though I am very much a hands-on person, I've started off as a massage therapist, also early on, it became clear to me that it needed to be more than just about through my hands, but my ability to receive touch through my whole system, like how my face receives information of touch, my throat, my chest, my belly, all of them are receivers. And that vibration of touch, how it literally touches us. And from that gives us something to respond to. And that's the magic of our wand, is like it receives information and then it inspires and we respond. It might be an emotion. It might be a creative idea. It might be a longing to connect. Whatever it is, that's our magical instrument is through touch. And to let go of this idea of that you have to be skilled at it. You already having a body, it's like you have a fucking like Porsche Ferrari and you're driving it around like it's just like a old beater.
Oh, damn.
Right? But all, no matter, even if you do have like nerve damage or you have had injury, you still have such a highly refined capacity for touch. I've worked with paraplegics and even they have such amazing refined, it's organic. Everything reorganizes to maximize, right?
Beautiful. So good. I feel like, oh my God, I want to be touched by Lara. If you're one of those, I'll let you know how you can find her. By the way, it's heavenly to be touched by her. But again, I can feel how you speaking. You're like, you are touching me right now too. So, but your hands are definitely so good for my body and many other bodies. So humanity is right now expressing its gratitude for all the gifts you shared and all the bodies you touched and opened and awakened and activated and the connection. Like I see now in so many different ways, as if, if you have two wires and they were broken or something, or there was a disconnect, that you knew how to bring them back together and let the circuitry run again. So that was the image that came off right now.
I just want to say that I'm really enjoying
your final hour.
Yeah, my final hour. Like, I'm really feeling how you're bringing me to this place. It's like, I could die now. I can die and feel satisfied, I don't want to go, but, because I'm feeling the liveness right now in this moment as you're asking me these questions. And
Beautiful. So simple question. And again, whatever comes up, in a way, it's already done. It's not that you can do much about it right now in the next 25 minutes. But again, what do you feel is the legacy that you want to leave behind? And I just want you to tune into that word. Like if you are leaving behind a legacy through your essence, your work, whatever you've been and whatever you've done, what is that? That legacy of light that you are leaving behind.
Wow. Legacy. Well, one of the things that I'm playing with right now is ways in which to make it easier for people to come back to their senses that feels like it's that they don't have to leave their lives in order to do that. That they don't have to go on a retreat, or they don't have to that they can weave it into their lives, and that their life might transform as a result of that, right? Yeah, maybe it's like my legacy would be that, I brought more ways in which people can open to their sensory wisdom, their sensory intuition, their knowing, which connects them also to a deeper connection to receive, to work with their gifts. And to enjoy. I think it's so important to enjoy, because the gift of touch makes it capable for us to enjoy things, right? Pleasure, sensory pleasure. It also informs us when we're not in pleasure. And that helps us to inform us when we're going off track in relationship to our gifts. So, I think that's what I would want people to, my legacy to be, that people found it easier to, on a daily basis, open up to their gifts, enjoy their gifts.
And find pleasure in it.
And find pleasure, yes.
Yummy. Yummy, yummy. So, final chance. If there is and I asked you already questions, so you left already good stuff behind, but let's say, final chance, final message for humanity that will be written in the books, even though there won't be books anymore. But what would be your final words, final message that you want to leave right now to humanity in these crazy times, 2021 we are in?
My final words. Wow. Well, I would say you are magnificent. And magnificent. And in magnificent, there is the word sense, right? Sense, magnifi-sense.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Why did we not come up with that before? I never saw that before.
No, all of a sudden it just happened. It just
right now? You never saw it before?
No, I actually...
I mean, use that. Oh my God, magnifi-sense.
Yes. Yeah, because you're actually one of the ones who helped me to really own that. Because I remember you asking me, getting me into this state of really expanded, knowing, and the word magnificent.
Yeah,
right?
I do remember that.
Yeah, you remember, right?
I do remember that, but I didn't remember that we found sense in it. We didn't back then, but now it's here.
Yeah, and magnify, magnifi-sense. So it's that's really what we're here to, is to magnify life through our senses. And we're magnifying it, but we're also creating it too. It's it magnifies, and then we keep on painting, and that we are already whole and complete. There's nothing more that needs to be fixed or added or done. It's it's all here. We just need to keep on practicing opening to that. And that helps, get out of the way, is by opening to what's already here. Even if it's just a subtle thing, because some days we feel shut down. And even in that shutdown, that has a feeling texture to it. And if we can just even be with that and ask, what does that shutdown need? And that's okay. Shutdown doesn't mean that you are no longer whole and complete. You're just shut down. It's an expression.
Just like it's raining.
Exactly. Exactly. So, wow, that would be my message, is to keep remembering that you're whole and complete. You are magnificent.
That word. Love that word.
Magnify your senses.
Yeah. And play with that.
Find
out what that means for you. Peace out.
Yes.
That's what she said. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Another question to this. A little bit more zoomed in.
Okay.
Same thing, you can leave one message behind, but this time it's towards the children. And what if there's one thing that you could leave or imprint and every child would know it or remember it or experience it as they grew up, what is that one thing that you would want every child to know, remember, embody, learn, but never ever forget after you told them right now?
I just had this flash because I have a friend of mine who just had a baby, and I supported her through the birth.
Wow.
So I feel extra connected to this little baby, and I've also gotten a chance to take care of her, and I'm so connected to this friend in a way. She's so open and trusting that makes it possible for me to trust myself. And so I'm just seeing that the whole birth process, right? We are born already hard workers. It is hard work coming into this life. Yes. We already know how to do how to work hard. Right? Just to be able to go from like not having to breathe to breathing to we're like drip fed food through an umbilical cord to all of a sudden having to figure out how to digest things and all that. It is constant work. And so I guess like, because you asked me, what do I want to
every child to know? Every child to know.
Wow. That they're amazing. They're doing such a good job. They are. They're doing such a good job. I would want them to know, like, they're doing so amazing. And the trust themselves. What else would I want them to know? That they're loved. They're watched out for, even if sometimes that their human support may not always be available to them, that they are held and supported regardless of the availability of their own parents. I'm seeing even like with this friend of mine, like her partner is ill. So she's been so open and trusting that and asking for help. Like, I'm right there. My life right now makes it so that I can help her out. So, the children, keep following your play. Keep following what feels good. And, sometimes learning about moderation, like, you see all this candy, you can't eat it all. It's like, there's a purpose to it. Believe me. Okay.
Oh my God. That's hilarious. She tried it up. Yes. Kiddos. Don't repeat it. I mean, you probably will, but I warned you. Moderation. Nice balance here. Pleasure. Go full out into your play and your pleasure. And then some moderation there too, please. Well, before I introduce my next question, anything else you want to share to feel complete?
Anything.
If you can. Yeah, just anything. Is there anything else you would want to share or would want me to know, want the people to know, want your loved ones to know? Yeah, that was maybe it too, like anything for your loved ones or...
Yeah, I guess for my loved ones, I would want to say, how grateful I am. Grateful for believing in me. Grateful for giving me so many opportunities. I've been given so many opportunities, so much gift in that. I can feel, it's interesting as I'm feeling, I can feel the bigness, that almost like I don't want to miss out on like the little bit of pressure that's here of like to say something profound.
Oh yeah, I get it. That's what this does.
So thank you. Grateful. And you're always with me.
Yes. You're always with me. Yes. With us.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. That's eternal. That, at least right now it feels eternal, right? Like I feel like I know that it's eternal and there's no way I can prove it, but my sense of it feels like that because boy, there's some people that I've tried to like get out of my system and so I've decided, you know what? They're in me and what if I can love that, those parts.
Beautiful. That was a good one. I don't know why. I haven't many, this is one of my first conversations, but I've done maybe 2 or so. I don't even remember. But it feels so weird right now to be at this point where it's kind of over. And I'm like, no. Okay, so because we still have about 40 minutes left, so before your final hour is over. I'm going for a moment, I might cut this out. I don't know if I'm going to leave this part in, but I'm like, what's happening? Like, why is this feeling so like overwhelming in my own system to imagine you leaving, even though I've set this up and I know what's coming. So I'm not understanding. Yeah, what's happening? Yeah, I'll just feel and speak through it. It's like I feel. Can I hold your hand? Yeah. So I just feel, because this is all imagination and play, but we're not doing this as imagination and play. We're fully in this conversation. It's so real. Like it's so. Yeah. You're so in it, you're feeling it all, that it makes it so real, as if I almost forget that this is a podcast and I'm setting this up, and it's like, no, we're in our final hour and the time is ticking, and I feel this like I want to hold your hand because I want to embody what I feel like is happening. It's like I'm holding you now, and what I know is like very soon, like it's like you're gonna be like that moment. I'm like letting her hand go, like, and I cannot hold it back. I can feel an overwhelming feeling, but also it's not fear, but it's like not wanting it, but you can't do anything about it. And so it grabs you by the throat, it grabs me by my solar plexus, but I could also just let go and let you go and like surrender into this process of basically, I guess, someone dying. I feel like that's what's moving in me.
Wow. Yeah, I just got all these chills because it does feel like it's definitely a realm that doesn't get explored so much, in the sense of in a celebratory way of like death. Like, let's go lean towards
into this letting go, instead of trying to grip on, or like I can feel the resistance or in the contraction, like, oh, I don't want to, instead of just relaxing into it, like, we celebrate and I love you, and like, finding the pleasure in that letting go, like that would be something.
Yes. And how that could inform many different parts of our lives. Like we were talking about relationships earlier, right?
Yes.
And the different ways we've experienced the transition of an intimate relationship to something else, and how sometimes we felt awkward in it, right? Where we just did a clear cut, or it has happened to us. And then other times when we stayed in something a little longer than it's like the possibility that being in this dialogue about death could support us in being able to be more fluid in the changes in our connections.
The transitions,
the
deaths and the rebirths, the beginnings and the endings, aka life.
Yes.
Beautiful. Well, my dear friend, I'm going to invite you again to close your eyes for a moment. So now that we've had this talk, and you kind of made it, what I like to call it, you made it to heaven's door. Almost there. Heaven's door. Is it knocking on heaven's door?
I think a Donna Summer song. It's like,
I don't know that one.
Heaven Can Wait, I think.
Oh, okay, insert song, Heaven Can Wait. So, because I want you to imagine that final hour, the final hour is almost done. You're right there at the edge of heaven, and yet something starts pulling you. Something calls within you, and it's like calling you back, pulling you back, like a heartstring is pulled. And reviewing your life, having this conversation leads to the realization that, damn, it's not yet my time. This was a play. And so instead of this being your final 10 minutes, you realize that instead of this being the final chance, you're getting another chance to going back. You have one final chance to fully come back into your body, into your life. And so then, of course, my question is, now that you get another chance, one more chance, maybe a final chance, what is it that you want for your life? What are you desiring, dreaming of?
Wow. To have this little bit of remembering that the knowing is in me. Even though I find my knowing gets activated by engaging with others often, right? To relax around the survival part of like thinking the answer is outside of myself. And what would be different, right? What would be different if I led purely from my own knowing?
Can you imagine what that would be like? Or what would be different? What do you imagine to be different if you purely led from your inner knowing?
Yeah, I would have a clearer sense of my yes and no's, because that's something that it can be, I can sometimes like convince myself at times into a yes or a no, you know? And that has a lot to do with my upbringing of being influenced from the outside world, of wanting to be accepted and liked. Yeah, that's a big one, of really the fear of being rejected, of being abandoned, of being a burden, to really feel that I am not a burden, right? To that and trust that.
Wish that for you. Not like as a wish, but as I want that for you, just as a done deal, sealed. Yeah. If she comes back down,
yeah, because
that's what she wants. She's not a burden, and she wants to know it, because I know it for her.
And I can say it, you know, as I speak to it. Of course, it seems almost like ridiculous that like I'm a burden, but there is these, it's like woven into my nervous system in a certain way that there's certain habits of interactions with people that when I get triggered into maybe feeling insecure, that the habits of trying to make sure that I'm not a burden, right, are kind of become certain personality traits. And I think that's one of the things we were talking about, like as I've been playing around with presenting or being in front of like a video camera, how there's a version of me that I think what happens is that there's the version of me that's making sure that I'm not a burden, that I'm going to be received, accepted, and that it happens so fast and so, it happens in a way that I'm like, who is that? Who is that version of me? Yeah. But yet it is a part of me too. So I'm curious about that.
Cool. So a part to discover more about in your time to come. Another piece to this, giving you get another chance at life. What do you feel is the life, if you have more life now? You do. You have more life. We never know how much, though, if it's going to be a day or 10 years. But if you have more life to live, what is it, if anything, that you want to be, do, have experience, create in order to feel fully complete, fulfilled by the end of your life? Could be a dream, could be anything, but like if you tune into that, to live that life where you're like, no regrets, I lived it all, I feel it's mission complete.
Wow, that's a hard one because I have a hard time seeing and feeling into the future. And as I was sharing before, it's like I can feel so full in the moment. So to from this place to go, okay, let me feel into.
It's totally fine to already be complete. That's fine too.
But
what's that? What's that?
I want to share more. I want to like build a team, whether it's a family, a team, a community, people that I can spread the word, sharing with you like what my legacy that I want to leave. And I want to work on that with like others who have similar legacies to leave behind, to see how that can be woven as a collective experience, a collective. So right now it's like being like the building of that.
Why do you want that? Like, what is it that what does your soul wants to experience through there? Like, why would that make it more complete or whole? Or even though we're whole and complete, but like, what would enrich?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Because I can't tell if it's just like that comes from the pure longing to expand. I love connection. I like to co-create. I love being in the mystery of what happens when I come into connection with someone else. I can enjoy creating on my own, but it gets fueled in relationship to others. If you say it, because this is a meeting point for us where these could be my words. And looking back at what you said in your final hour earlier and the time we lived together, and you mentioned this thing about all the experiences we had, they were like portals. And this was what came up again, where it's like this desire for collective or co-creation. I feel like there are more portals in there that I haven't gone through or that I have not experienced yet. So I'm bringing this up to see if you relate to that. There's like, we haven't not seen the full potential yet of what is possible as a collective in co-creation. Like there's more there to sense, experience. Yes. Yeah. As you say that, I can feel like it feels like a location, a space, so there's something about an environment.
Yeah.
An environment that holds this, that nourishes this. So there's locations, environment. Yeah, it's like something that just like flashed in a moment. And I can't remember what your question was in relationship to that. It was
the sense that there's more potential and more portals, to experience,
right?
As a
collective. Yes, and so that even the longing itself is like the breadcrumbs to those portals.
Yes,
right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. And I love a recent definition of magic that I was introduced to was that magic is actually the conscious participation with synchronicity.
Boom.
Right?
Do we know who that's from or no? Is it? Are we quoting someone technically or?
Well, I know that in the.
Otherwise, I would quote you. So I'm just making sure that I got the right reference here.
I don't know if this is her, this comes from her, but I know she said it. This is Carolyn Elliott.
Okay.
And Carolyn Elliott wrote this book, Existential Kink.
Oh, okay.
And she works a lot with wanting to awaken people to their relationship to magic, and that's where that definition, where I first heard it, but I think it comes from the Hermetic arts. Yeah, that's as much as I know.
Sure. So portals, magic. Now I lost the thread where we were. Portals, magic, co-creation, collective, synchronicity.
Yes.
The active participation with synchronicity is magic.
Yep, and that our longings, they're breadcrumbs, right, to those portals.
Pointers to go this way. Yeah. You can't see everything yet, but this is the way you want to go. Yes. When it comes to your own magnificence, your own essence, your own blueprint, your own purpose, all of it, do you have a desire around what you want to, I'll call it, more deeply embody or live, experience throughout your human form during your life here?
Well, I would definitely an intimate partnership. I want to, like, there's the part of me that's like curious in research mode, right? And then there's there's just the pure longing of wanting to share this with a partner, an intimate partner. And I don't know what that would look like, but it has a certain kind of, a partnership. So there's the partnership of intimacy, and then there's the creativity of co-creating a movement, and how that can build on something, right? So I haven't yet really found that. I'm now 51 and I've had intimate partnerships and relationships, but I haven't yet found someone who I truly co-create on this level that I'm speaking to you about. Yes. Right? I'm giving you all my, this is, right, the essence of me. Yeah. Right?
Exactly. We're going deep. We're going to the essence, to what truly matters. That's at least my intention that's why I want to have this conversation. I want to find out, what is it that makes your heart tick as long as you're alive?
And it's funny, another thing flashed to me, and it was around this legacy part. And, so much of what's showing up is around wanting to save the world or, save the planet. And I really feel that the best way we can care, and it goes beyond care, because we are made up of the same ingredients that the earth is made up of, right? And to be able to, quote, save the planet or save the earth is actually to turn inward to the care of the self, and to the body is made up of these earth elements. And the more we start to listen and open our senses, which informs us about the care, that will bring us more into sync with the care, be more in sync and in tune with the cycles of life, the cycles of the elements and the earth and what its needs are. And so that we're, tending.
Beautiful. I feel like I want to repeat in my own words again, as I was seeing it through me, is when I get to become a better in my magic wand, in my magnifi-sense, in my magnifier that I am, and the more I get to listen to all the information that I'm receiving, and that most of the time we can numb ourselves out from, or we're not feeling it, or we're not listening, or we're I don't know all the things we do with it, but a lot we can do with it. So the better I become at decoding the information within myself, given that I am an earth being, the better I get to listen to Earth because she speaks through me, and the better I know what she needs because it's what I need, and because what I need is what she needs because we are the same.
Yes.
Yeah, instead of like the focus on saving the world or saving planet or saving people, it's like get in tune with your own instrument, and that's where you know what it actually is that I can do, what I'm born to do when it comes.
Yes.
What the instrument is I'm here to play, basically.
And what I've been calling this process is body communing. So communing, and it's more than just a conversation, because communing is like presence. It involves all of our senses more than just voice, and that communing also is connected to a kind of sacred aspect, because the word commune has been used in many religious practices. Taking communion, it's communing with the divine, and we can commune with the divine by actually having a communication with our bodies. We can actually use like asking questions, letting our bodies know we're here. Like it can be that obvious. Like use what we already know that we use with others in communication, and keep turning towards inward with that. And be relaxed around what the emergent qualities of the vocabulary, because the vocabulary is not always in words. It is in shapes, textures, sensations, and it shouldn't be distinct at first. It should be emergent. So it's like one of the things I would want people to know is don't try and be too quick in trying to make meaning. Stay in the mysterious emergence of the primordial shapes and curiosities that are sensations that are in your body. So let it fill out. And from there, see what gets evoked. Let it be a relaxed evocation that comes forth, as opposed to the mind going, what does this mean? It kind of looks like this. It's like the mind will start to try and make meaning too quickly sometimes.
I'm just sitting here staring at you, and time is up. Your final hour is more than complete. Wow. The good news is you made it. We made it. And like, I feel like so grateful, and I'm so blessed that I get to know you. I'm like, I was staring at you and I was like, you're such a beautiful, magical creature. I love you. You've been such a gift in my life. And I'm so happy that I get to take you out for dinner, and I'm going to celebrate life even more with you. And maybe I'm going to pretend as if it's the final dinner, because it just adds that little aliveness to it, to like fully be here, because we never know if we'll have dinner again. You never know, honestly. So thank you so much for spending this time with me, for sharing all that you shared. And I'm so, so happy that you get to touch way more people's bodies and lives through all the magic and the wisdom that you shared here today, but so much more to come. And I just want to thank you for being here with me.
Oh, thank you. I enjoyed it so much. It was so yummy. It was definitely a journey. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was a ride. Beautiful emotional wave. And if you've listened, I hope that you felt and moved with us, because this was definitely a feeling one, I believe. And until next time, for the next final chance. Wow, thank you so much for listening to this very first episode of the Final Chance podcast. And if you enjoyed this podcast, please share it with your loved ones. Now, Lara and I, we would love to hear from you and know how this episode moved you. What are you taking away from this conversation? Let us know. In the show notes, you can find all the links to connect to us, and I just want to highlight Lara's online mini course called Touch of Magic, with 4 video practices that can help you connect to your body's intelligence. Lara is offering a special discount to the listeners of this podcast, so go check out the discount code in the show notes. And hey, if you are in the Netherlands, I highly recommend you get Lara's Hands on Your Body, book a private transmission with her. Your body will thank you for that. And I cannot wait to share my next magical friend with you on the next episode of the Final Chance podcast.